Holy fuck, what a year.
Yeah.
A lot happened.
It's been 2016 for 3 years.
It literally has. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Waffle Press podcast. I'm your host, Diego Crespo. It's my co-host, Gina Versa. We're here to talk about movies, because that's what we do in the show. And there's a lot of movies that came out in 2019. A lot of other stuff happened too, which we're going to talk about. TV shows. Gene played some video games. I didn't play anything new this year, so I'd be irrelevant. Mm-hmm. But we're also going to talk about our favorites and what we consider to be the best things of the decade. Mostly movies. We have lists on our phones because we are professionally unprofessional. But also, I'd like to highlight some video games because I played video games before this year. Not so much this year, but again, your host Diego Crespo, Gina Versa. Mm-hmm. A lot of stuff's been happening. Gene, looking back at this year, are you proud of what you've done?
Yeah, I think so.
I didn't even prepare this in the notes. I just feel like it's important to talk about.
Just throwing this at me?
Yeah.
How you doing? Yeah, I think I really put myself out there, pushed my limits, pushed it to the limit in terms of Scarface music.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Not really the goal.
Yeah.
Never want Scarface to be your goal. For
No, yeah, terrible
kids
person
listening out there. I know some younglings actually listen to this, so thank you.
Every rapper, take that poster off of your bedspread. The Scarface poster. Maybe they just like the
cinematography. There's a difference between
of
appreciation and legitimate, like, I want the, like, there are people that saw Wolf of Wall Street and were like, that's the life I want. And that is not the intent of Wolf of Wall Street.
Like he gets indicted on 6 counts. That's the life I want.
Like, if you come away, walk away from Wolf of Wall Street being like, I want that life. That movie endorses that lifestyle. Wow, wasn't that great? We don't have sponsors, but we did have to cut away. New microphone, because we're getting better at this, I think. It's safe to say. The last couple of years, we've been slowly improving our quality and sound, guests, episodes, all this stuff. I'm actually quite proud of the progress we made along the way.
Yeah. I met you on a bus, by the way.
Oh, yeah. On a bus in high school, because that's how you meet people in high school. That's not how I met everyone, but apparently that's how I met Gene. Yeah. But we've come a long way, and I think it's safe to say 2020 will be our best year yet. I think, or maybe not. I don't know. I think so. Anyways.
Yeah. I hope so.
Yeah. If not, then we'll have to do better. Anyways, failure is not an option. That's what I'm going for. But speaking of failure, let's talk about The Rise of Skywalker, because that's the big topic of the day. We just want to get this out of the way. Matt Gringo and I did an episode I'm very proud of for the Star Wars retrospective. It's over an hour long, so that's why I just feel the need to go bring it up again right here. Check that out if you would please. But Gene, your thoughts on Rise of Skywalker, I don't think you've shared with the podcast.
I think I briefly put something on Instagram or something like, it was enjoyable, had a good time. It's over now. Go away. I liked it enough. I certainly enjoyed myself in the theater. I don't think it's a perfect movie by any means. I think JJ is like the New England Patriots, where it's like he keeps winning. JJ made a lot of fumbles. He kept running the ball, and just a lot of bad calls I just did not agree with at all. But I enjoyed myself at least. I mean, it's over. The Skywalker saga, or whatever they want to call it, to market it, and make it profitable, and still make movies.
Yeah,
it was good.
Yeah, they'll probably re-release it in theaters as like another event thing, like they did with Far From Home.
Yeah, I'm getting getting a little tired of re-releases. By the way,
I am too.
On a tangent, yeah,
I definitely am too.
Because it's not like a extended cut of Apocalypse Now. It's just like 2 extra scenes in Spider-Man. Yeah. Far From Home, a movie I don't like.
It's funny that you bring up Apocalypse Now, because that was one of the big re-releases, and even then I'm like, kind of make the movie worse in my opinion.
No, I like when he's on the French farm and you see the nuances of the war and all of that. And,
it gets a little too literal for me.
Well,
which I think is the problem with Rise of Skywalker. Yeah. And obviously I've talked enough about that. I did a whole podcast on it.
Imagine if George Lucas did Apocalypse Now as it intended.
George Lucas had his... He was not a bad filmmaker.
I love American Graffiti.
American Graffiti's great. THX, obviously.
Student films, I guess.
Star Wars, he gets a lot of flack for the prequels. Rewatching Phantom Menace when I was wrapping presents for Christmas. That's not a bad movie.
No.
That's
There's totally crippling problems with it, but it is not a bad film compared to some shit that came out this year. It might as well be the Sistine Chapel.
Yeah.
But I only say some of the stuff this year because I think it is not a surprise to say I was kind of down on the film world this year for a little bit. Specifically leading into summer, I was not in the best place with movies.
Mm-hmm.
And as the year progressed, I was like, hey, there's some good stuff coming out. And now, I don't know if I'm going to have time to see everything before the year's up.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see Uncut Gems, and that's it.
You haven't seen it yet?
I haven't seen it yet. Don't spoil it.
I will not spoil that movie. Well, I will definitely bring that up again later.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the acting debut of Kevin Garnett.
You're going to be so happy.
Yeah.
But I guess anything else you want to touch on Rise of Skywalker? Just I wanted to give you this moment to like really get it out there.
I don't think there were retcons, but there were a lot of like 180 turns that really disappointed me, where it feels like everyone's has their whole opinion on this trilogy made up, whatever YouTube video they want to parrot. But I just feel like this franchise, I think it's good. There are two really great movies and then all right one, but it feels like these films made by two very different people.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like a Ghidorah of a franchise. They're all fighting each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? Honestly, I said it when I discussed The Last Jedi for the first time on the show, and I said it again recently that Force Awakens and Last Jedi, as different as those two filmmakers are, I think those two feel like one whole cohesive piece.
Mm-hmm.
One of the problems with Rise of Skywalker for me is that it feels like it's a different person who made from The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
It feels like completely different.
What was JJ doing in between this?
Oh, look, everyone wants to paint someone as the villain.
Yeah.
I think there's enough blame to go around with the state of how franchise filmmaking is. Just the turnarounds are ridiculous. There's no reason why this shouldn't have taken 3 years instead of 1.5, because the production schedule on this is the tightest window of any Star Wars movie ever.
Yeah.
That's
for the
last one.
For the last one, that's crazy.
That's bad. And I think that's my point. That I also leave off on the retrospective episode 2, and I think it's safe to say we're kind of in the same ballpark. I think we were pretty eye to eye on this movie. We enjoyed it enough. Never, ever let this happen again.
Right.
This franchise is better than that. The people who worked on it have done better than this, and make sure every movie is make sure it's something to be proud of, not just to make a release date. And I think that's kind of what happened here a little bit, but. Can't win them all. Unlike Adam Sandler and Uncut Gems, who will get an Oscar nomination.
I hope so.
Mark my words, that would be terrific if that came to be. But looking back at the rest of the year, Gene, you played some video games, you read some comics. Is there anything you want to highlight from here before we get into the movies of everything?
Yeah, Death Stranding. I loved another great Kojima game.
Mm-hmm.
He's on tour.
He's a video game on tour. He's a little out there.
Yeah, he's what do you call Nicholas Winding Refn? George.
Nicholas Winding Refn is my pretentious art house film boy.
Yeah. Who
I don't know if he's high on his own supply. I don't know if he's in on the joke, but I don't really care either way because I get a kick out of him.
Yeah, I feel like that about Kojima, where just the way he presents himself in his games are, he creates his own living world, and a little pretentious at times. I forgot what movie he liked. I'm like, oh no, don't.
I remember. I don't know how to say it.
Oh,
Green Book. You like?
Yeah, you like Green Book.
You messaged me that you were like, no.
I was disappointed that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Kojima Green Book. I'm like, darn it, why? But
no one's perfect.
No one's perfect.
They're like the Rise of Skywalker.
They like the Rise of Skywalker. I think he liked it too. But Death Stranding is great. You're just Norman Reedus playing as him. You feel like you're him, and you're holding this bridge baby that could detect these Dementor figures called I forgot what they're called. They're like these ghosts, and they're the barrier between life and death has been destroyed. So America has become split apart. All the nations of the world are just under attack by these ghouls almost. Mm-hmm. And you have to unite America, and it's his statement on Brexit and Trump and all the division of kind of the alt-right and all the fascism taking over the world. It's a really fun game. It's it's really calming. You're just hiking and fighting off random Dementors, and it's it's really zen playing it. I love it.
Yeah, I've heard some people say like, "Oh, it's so like obvious with political statement." I'm like, who cares, dude?
But everything's
That's
political.
cool.
You know?
Yeah, like
I don't know, like when they're like, oh, when they're like, oh, I wish when Star Wars wasn't political.
oh yeah, if you say that, you're an idiot.
Yeah, this
Like
movie.
that's just a fact.
This movie about the Vietnam War and like the invasion of Afghanistan in 2003 for the prequels. That I don't know, like what is something that's not political? Like I don't know, like
I think.
like a kid show, not even a kid show. Like look at like Hey Arnold or something.
Yeah, no, everything's like. I think this is the big problem with, or just some schmucks on YouTube too. So I'm kind of shooting ourselves in the foot by me saying this, but like a lot of people on YouTube, like a lot of them are popular like film nerds, I guess, on there.
Yeah.
They're always saying like, like they're complaining about stuff being political, and it's like, who gives a shit? Because everything you do is in like an act of political nature.
Yeah.
Like Cats, in a sense, is political. It is also a genuine, like, horrifying disaster of a film that everyone should watch in theaters with the largest crowd possible. But it is also like maybe a little politically upsetting.
Yeah.
I have some questions about Tom Hooper's racial politics. I'll just leave it at that. Go check out the Cats retrospective because there's some red flags in there I'm not sure about.
Yeah.
But like everything you do says something about like your belief system or like what your politics or something like that. And I think it's ridiculous to even like shy away from that. So going into 2020, if you still believe that, put that away. Lock it in a box, throw away the box, blow up the box because it's stupid and you're wrong.
Yeah.
What's not wrong are opinions on movies,
Mm-hmm.
which we're going to talk about now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good ones this year.
Oh, great.
A lot of good ones. So we're going to do our top 5 of 2019, and then we're going to do our top 10 of the 2010s decade, because there was a lot of movies that I really liked, and it was really hard for me to do.
So,
I narrowed down a list of 100.
Oh, man. Yeah, they're dwindling it down.
Yep. I had to dwindle it down for this show, and I think it's also important to note that though we're saying this right now, in like a year or two, if we're like, oh yeah, this probably would have been on my list instead of this now, looking back at it, that's just going to happen, because art is not an objective form of expression. It is just a thing to talk about and experience and enjoy. So that's what we're here to do today on Waffle Press. Gene, would you like to go first? What is your number 5 pick of 2019?
Yeah, probably number 5 would be Parasite.
Oh, that's a good one. Director Bong Joon-ho,
Bong Joon-ho.
legendary South Korean filmmaker who is also very political.
Yeah, he's the GOAT.
He is literally the GOAT. He's one of the greatest filmmakers of all time. And he had this great statement in an interview where he said, everyone's living under one nation. It's called capitalism.
Yeah.
So if you want like art that doesn't veer into politics, fuck off.
Yeah.
He's there to tell you to shut up, nerd, and get stuffed in a locker. My number 5 is actually Knives Out by our boy Ryan Johnson. A total crowd pleaser, awesome whodunit that is kind of not a whodunit for a lot of it, and then it kind of is a whodunit, and it's a big genre blending metatextual mystery film. It's definitely a mystery.
Yeah.
But
all things considered, you're still trying to figure out stuff.
Oh yeah, totally.
Spoilers. Certain things that get revealed.
Yeah. You know what? Actually, this is going to be a little different, but let's just talk about these two back and forth then. Why is Parasite on your list? And I'll talk about why Knives Out is on my list after.
Yeah, I just felt that Parasite, it's like this movie that's, at one point it's like a horror, then it's a thriller, and then it's like all these different things, and like genre hops around, and it keeps going. You want to live in this world, and like you're so captivated by these characters. And even though like they're not the best, like you certainly you feel for them and want them to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a work of, it's such a great work of art.
Yeah, and it's a great use of production design. Like it's not just the house is like really well like lit, and it's not just a great piece of modern art or modern architecture. It was built for the film, and just the way it's structured, what the film is about with class, and how the rich are basically just like dismissive of everyone in the lower class spectrum, and how they're viewed as, this is not a spoiler, they're viewed as parasites. That's the whole point of the film. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in the film, but I'm just very impressed by how the house is structured, kind of like the character struggles
Yeah.
in the film. You know, they're kind of shuffled onto lower levels of things, and
Mhm.
they're not really appreciated by having to survive anything by the people who actually own the house. And it's a terrific film, and I'm very glad it made your list, and I expect it to make many more lists.
Yeah, I feel like we're gonna have like crossovers on our lists.
Oh no!
Probably.
Spoiler alert: we just had one. But yeah, for me, Knives Out kind of has the same like eat the rich attitude. Not nearly as like cutting, but the tone is different. They're very different films, and I think you kind of get the same expert level filmmaking from both of those. Ryan Johnson also has like an immigration angle that I was not expecting in the film. Fantastic lead performance by Ana de Armas, who was great in Blade Runner 2049 and was in smaller roles before, but this is like the one where she really gets to shine. She's great in Blade Runner, but I mean, she's not the focal point of that movie, and she's
a good character.
She is the focal point of this film, and she has a really wonderfully expressive face. She's nominated for a Golden Globe. Golden Globes don't really mean that much, but like, I was just surprised that she got that, and then I'm very happy for her character, and the film's narrative, because that made me go to a happy place. And I guess it's a new holiday classic for me because I watched it on both Thanksgiving and Christmas Day. So
there you go.
Yeah, there you go. Number 4, Gene.
Yeah, The Irishman.
All right.
Yeah, I just love that film where it's 3.5 hours of this long tale about gangsters, and it really worked for me. It's good to see Pesci back after his long retirement. He was coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I certainly really enjoyed it, and it talks about a lot of things. It's kind of this his grand statement on like gangster movies too, because it talks like, if you live this long, what's going to happen to you as a mobster or a criminal? You know, it's not exactly right, and yeah, it really shines a light in that, and yeah, one of Scorsese's best.
I completely agree. The Irishman is a great film, and not to spoil anything, but it will appear on my list too. So definitely some crossover with us
for sure.
I'll save more of my thoughts for then. My number 4 is actually Ad Astra, the James Gray film.
Sad Astra.
Sad Astra. Sad Astra. Dad Astra. Rad Astra. No, it's a very slow moving film. So I've seen some people say it's actually Bad Astra.
It's a bad pun.
It is bad because they're also wrong. No, whatever. If you don't like it, you don't like it. That's not the point. I thought it was a very moving film. It's been described as Apocalypse Now in space, which it structurally is Apocalypse Now, but it's also a film about human connection and how adhering to certain codes, structures, guidelines for what is like respectable can often be limiting emotionally, and how it's a very literal movie about the sins of the father going on and affecting the son.
Yeah.
But it is also, I think, very much a story about human connection, and that sometimes there's a danger in losing oneself in search of something greater when there's also greatness around us, And I mean, like, that's a very prevalent idea, given that people want to really go back to space and stuff like that. And obviously, space is great. We should totally keep exploring that too. But it's like, let's also focus on problems here. It doesn't have to be one or the other. It should be all. There's things to take care of on this planet of existence. And also, spoiler alert, minor spoiler alert. Brad Pitt fights a monkey.
Yeah.
And it's awesome.
Yeah. They also reference Dark Star, John Carpenter's Dark Star, where it's like he gets the thing and it's like he's almost like surfing on it, like at the end of Dark Star.
That is kind of, yeah, that is for people. I know a lot of people haven't seen Dark Star.
No one's seen Dark Star. No one listening.
People watch Dark Star. I know Matt's seen Dark Star.
Okay.
Matt Garingo. Yeah. Dark Star's a great film. Check it out. It's John Carpenter's first film, and it was made for pennies, basically.
Yeah.
And it looks like it, but it's still a great film. Not as good as Ad Astra still for me. But yeah, a very beautiful film shot by amazing cinematographer Hoyt van Hoytema, who had a hell of a glow up this decade. Oh my God.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah, great work all around. I think the one thing people are generally iffy on from him is like Spectre, and that's not even his fault. The images are beautiful in that film. That's It's not the takeaway here, but yeah, great work. Great designs, great locations. It costs like a third of what the last Star Wars movie cost, and it looks like it's the same budget. So, bravo, James Gray. I really loved your work on that film, and I cannot wait to see what he does next. Killer Brad Pitt performance. Do not know if I'd nominate him for this or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but he deserves it for either one. All right, Gene, number 3. What do you got?
Yeah, number 3 was Knives Out.
There we go. Okay,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on Knives Out?
Yeah, I thought it was a great contemporary movie on America, and had a lot to say about the country and left and right, and yeah, there's a lot to unpack with it. It's a good Thanksgiving movie for sure. I
It's
feel
a
like
great
that
one,
at
yeah.
Thanksgiving, yeah. Start getting family members. I could relate. Yeah, but terrific cast and just I love Benoit Blanc.
Yeah.
Benoit Blanc.
Benoit Blanc.
Blanc, I had it right.
Mhm.
Where he's, I love Daniel Craig in that.
His
Yeah,
foghorn
Foghorn,
Foghorn
Leghorn.
accent? Yeah.
Foghorn Leghorn, yeah.
Mhm.
He really plays off Ana de Armas really well.
Mhm.
Very great thing. I'd love to see more Benoit Blanc
Yeah.
adventures, right?
I would love to see more Rian Johnson Star Wars movies.
Yeah, which are coming eventually, right? Hope so. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Such a free
I don't have any inside information or anything. I feel very positive about those happening in light of recent events is all. But if he doesn't go back to a galaxy far, far away, and we just simply get more Rian Johnson movies and Knives Out sequels,
Oh, yeah.
well, we all win.
Yeah, I love
yeah.
Looper. I love Brothers Bloom.
Looper, one of the best of the decade. I think we could both agree on that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great pick. Knives Out. I think I'm glad a lot of people have also like watched it.
Yeah.
Like I kind of have this one group of family members that I kind of use as like my social guinea pigs.
Mhm.
Basically, if they see a movie, I know it's a hit.
Yeah.
They all saw Knives Out on Christmas Day and adored it. So that tells me something very good about the general population. My number 3 is Uncut Gems, the Safdie brothers joint starring comedic legend Adam Sandler, who's, comedic stuff, movie-wise, not always been the greatest hit, but I've always gone to bat for him as a serious actor because my belief is that comedic actors, genuinely great comedians, are good actors because they have to sell material and you have to buy their performance on stage, When you do stand up, it's basically doing like a mini performance for a large room of people. And he does not disappoint here at all. This is probably his best performance ever. Punch Drunk Love's got some serious competition again. Also, no disrespect to Funny People, which is maybe the most underrated Adam Sandler performance. But Uncut Gems is exactly what you've heard about it being like a 2-hour anxiety attack, but it's also a very touching, moving film.
Yeah.
I think the true beauty of the Safdie brothers, they get a lot of like hype for like just how intense their movies get a lot. Like if you've seen Good Time, but
It's not a good time.
I should have called it a stressful time. But I think the real like hat trick with their stuff is that they're very human and they really care about the people and the characters. Like every little person they bump into on the street in the film feels like a real human being. Sometimes it was because they just pulled people off the streets, like the Safdie brothers. On the day of recording this, one of them just said that they couldn't sleep a night before shooting, went to shoot craps in a hotel downstairs where they were staying in New York, and they met someone and put him in the film. And
Okay.
and you would never be able to tell if they just pulled in anyone off the street. They just feel like they're from the street, but you buy their performances.
Yeah, it has
People
a
who are
realness
not
to it.
actors, yeah, and so that's really great. I've been getting into John Cassavetes' works recently. He was a big blind spot for me, and I got major Cassavetes vibe from them, but for the 2010s. So I cannot wait to see what they do next. I hope their 48 Hours remake gets some traction now, and I hope Adam Sandler plays the cop because this is one of the best movies of the year.
Yeah.
Probably of the decade. You cannot go out to see it fast enough.
Yeah, or bring back the original cast in 48 Hours.
Oh, I love Nick Nolte so much.
Yeah.
And Eddie Murphy's come back.
Eddie Murphy, yeah.
Eddie Murphy did not make my top 5, but I love Eddie Murphy, and I think we both agree. Dolomite is my name. Watch it on Netflix. It's a good one. Number 2, Gene.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I hope that wasn't your number 2.
No.
Okay,
no.
good. Yeah, I thought that was it was a great Tarantino movie. It really, it's just a fun hangout movie where you really want to spend more time with these characters and hang out with them, and like you love you love like Brad Pitt's character, even though he might have killed his wife.
If I may, really quick,
Yeah.
and then I want to let you have the floor on
Sure.
that because it did not make my top 5, but there's a future where it's totally on there, like, oh yeah, that was my favorite of that year, whatever.
Mhm.
Brad Pitt did kill his wife in that movie. I think it's important to say he
Oh, my God.
100%
Uh,
is responsible for her death.
Yeah.
It's whether or not it was intentional is kind of the discussion around it, I feel anyways. It's whether or not he intended to is kind of the debate around it for
Right.
me anyways.
Mhm.
But I think the movie leaves a lot of like interesting ambiguity. It's not
Yeah.
that he's not answering things, it's this is worth mentioning more often than not. And there are some genuinely shitty people in the film industry.
Mhm.
And in the film I think it's kind of Tarantino's gotten rightful flack for maybe
The Bruce Lee fight. And all that.
Bruce Lee fight, just his own filmmaking practices, endangering some crew members, whatever. There's enough out there by smarter people than I don't want to get into the whole thing. My read on Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is that it's Tarantino saying, like, this is what I got. This is not,
Yeah.
like, this is me pulling my heart
Totally,
out
yeah.
for what I love
Mhm.
and maybe giving back. It's just a movie, but maybe movies are powerful enough to do some good out there and, given the actual story of what happened
Mhm.
with Sharon Tate and stuff like that. I think it's a very moving film.
Yeah, I mean, that's like saying that if the stars of the 60s and 70s, they didn't try to like replace one another, they just got along, or, if they were like more gracious towards each other, because that was his like when he came of age watching movies too.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think it was pretty brilliant.
Yeah. You know what would be a fun double feature?
Which
Inherent Vice, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
yeah,
Same year,
yeah,
1969.
that's true.
Yep, the end of an era kind of film. I like those. My next film is not about that. My number 2 is Parasite, which
there you
we
go.
already discussed a little bit, but yeah, it is every bit as good as you've heard, probably even better than we're talking about it. Many people have it as their number 1, I've been told, and they're not wrong at all. It is... God, if it doesn't get, like, awards recognition... Awards don't mean anything at the end of the day, like, films are not confined to that, but, like, just how much hype has been given to this film, and how many waves, like, it's broken. Like, I have family members that never watch foreign films in theaters, and they've heard about it. So, like, it's making waves.
Yeah, I think so.
I
I
hope...
mean, like I think like in a lot of Korean communities, he's really well known.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
The director,
Yeah, Bong Joon-ho, my dude. Never stop making movies, please, because you're just too fucking good at it. All right, Gene, this is it for the year. Number 1 film.
Us by Jordan Peele.
Yes!
Yeah.
Yes! Us is fantastic.
Yeah,
Please
I love
gush about it.
Yeah, I love he's Jordan Peele is just on such a roll. I love Get Out. I think this was maybe I enjoyed a little bit more than Get Out, but yeah, it's just such a brilliant movie. It's such a well-made horror movie. It's a brilliant commentary on the country, on how he sees the world, and you could keep watching it, and like it doesn't get old. It really has so many layers to it, and then things to find and little things. Like I just love the just all the little sequences, like when they play NWA or the Beach Boys, and so many iconic moments, and yeah, just I love it. It's amazing.
Did not make my list, but that's one of those movies that I'm totally like, maybe I should have changed something else.
Yeah,
out,
maybe you should have.
Maybe I should have. It's so good, and I love it so much. I wrote a piece for the Patreon and my own blog about it that I'm still very, very proud of, about why that movie scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Like, legitimately kept me awake at night. Just like my brain could not stop revolving around everything about that film. And yeah, that is an excellent choice. And I've seen some people say like, well, it's not as good as Get Out. And it's like, that's not the point of movies.
Yeah.
It can be good on its own terms.
Yeah.
And also, I think it might be a little better than Get Out. But Get Out is also not anything less than like a masterpiece.
Of course.
My number 1 is The Irishman, because that's real cinema. Not like that fake nerd shit you guys watch.
Yeah,
it's not like we've spent years and hours talking about them also on here.
Did you see the thing with Martin Scorsese's daughter, like wrapped his present?
Oh yeah,
that was really cute.
That was adorable. But seriously, The Irishman is also like every movie we talked about today. I think we both have pretty good top 5. Every bit as good as you've heard. I watched it in a cold theater not knowing anyone, almost running late to the theater. I
Yeah.
had the worst seat in the house, the air conditioning blasting down on me,
No.
looking up at an angle at the screen. Minutes in, none of that mattered because I was just so like
The power of cinema.
sucked in. The power of Scorsese, man. Yeah. And like, you know, I was joking about like, oh, it's real cinema. But it was one of those movies where I walked out after being like, well, first of all, the entire audience, like no one stood up when it was over. Everyone just kind of like, the energy I felt was like everyone just kind of like sinking in like, whoa,
Yeah.
that's a heavy film.
Yeah,
you know?
it's a hard watch. Like, you know, I mean,
It's just
I love
so
that it's-
depressing.
it's depressing, but I love that it's 3.5 hours. And, you know, if, you know, I said this in the last podcast, but yeah, if you watch it in a movie theater, I'm not trying to be like elitist, but it really helps with that experience. Like, you can watch it however you want,
Yeah.
you know? You want to watch it like in bursts or installments, or I don't know about like a mini series, but yeah, if you want to, you can watch it however. I mean, yeah, use the bathroom,
Yeah.
whatever.
Like, I saw some people give flack to the like, oh, how to watch Irishman as a miniseries thing. I'm pro that. But look, man, not everyone can make it out to theaters. Theaters are expensive generally. It was only playing in a handful. It wasn't playing at like any AMCs or anything like wide, you know. I had to drive out like an hour from us, Gene.
Mhm.
So like, and we're in LA, like, so. But anyways, it was totally worth watching in the theater. I also rewatched it on Netflix, and personally, I'm more of a theater guy. But like again, it is also, we should also mention they're like, it's more complicated than just like I prefer this and that. It's
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, it's a very powerful film. It is also like horribly, horribly depressing by the end.
I love De Niro.
De Niro's so good, and Pesci, he's known for playing like the loud, you know, like do I amuse you, you know, like kind of psychopath. And here he still plays a psychopath, but it's scarier to me because he's like
so quiet.
he's so quiet and calm, and he's like a genuinely evil person in this too. Pesci is outstanding. Would be awesome if he got like a Best Supporting Actor nomination for a comeback role, like probably his last role ever. Because
Yeah.
I think he doesn't give a shit about acting.
Well, you know, I think he's said what he's gonna say. He's done the roles he wanted to do. I
Yeah.
mean, I think he just raises like horses and stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
more power
yeah,
to him, you know?
he's just enjoying his retirement. So
Yeah, and I mean, the fact that it doesn't miss a beat coming back after all these years, like, hell of a dude. It still shocks me that this was the first time Pacino had ever worked with Scorsese.
yeah, we're like
Yeah.
Pesci as well, and
No, Pesci worked with...
Did he?
oh, you mean with Pacino?
yeah, with
Oh, excuse
Pacino,
me, yeah.
and then probably like the third movie with De Niro, and then second on screen together.
Mm-hmm.
Like everyone forgets about that terrible movie,
Righteous Kill.
Righteous Kill.
God,
Had
imagine-
50 Cent in it. Do you remember that movie?
No, 50 Cent could be a good actor. 50
No, I
Cent's
mean
not the
like
problem with the
that is so
movie, yeah.
random that it's like it's such a random movie. The reveal is like one of their names. They never tell you their name in the movie. Like what?
It's trying to like outsmart the audience with clever bullshit.
Aren't you
It's
cl-
so
aren't-
fucking
yeah.
smart. And just imagine if that movie was as good as like The Irishman and Heat. That would be a perfect trilogy right there. A 3-part epic about Pacino versus De Niro.
Yeah.
But that is not the
Are
universe
they
we
on
live in.
screen like as in they share the same frame in Heat? You would know this one.
They share one frame together. And it's,
Okay. Because they don't share.
spoiler alert for fucking
Yeah,
Heat if
should
you haven't
see
seen it.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah,
last
sorry.
frame of the film. It is my favorite
Because in the diner they're
moment
like
in history.
it's a reverse over the shoulder.
Yeah, they.
It's over the shoulder.
Man
so-
got the wide. He decided not to use it in the cut because he felt it was better to keep them separate until the end, where those characters are like they're the ones that understand. It's the total Michael Mann thing he does in every fucking movie. He makes the same movie every decade, and I eat it up every time.
Yeah.
Where they can't live with each other, but they're the ones that understand each other. That's why they get the last shot together. It's my
Yeah.
favorite moment in cinematic history. Whatever.
Even
No
Black
big
Hat.
deal. Black Hat is.
Is that going to be on your top 10 at the end of the year?
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
But yeah, The Irishman, for lack of a better term, it's the shit.
Yeah.
It steamrolled over the competition for me this year.
Those Marvel movies don't have anything.
Yeah, what? Avengers? Endgame? Fucking,
You're gonna lose half the fan base right now.
I'm gonna shove fucking
You know.
Tom Holland into a locker. No, I love Tom
I'm gonna
Holland.
edit this out.
No, I love Tom Holland. I have
He's a
not
good
been shy
guy.
about that.
He
Yeah.
raises pit bulls.
Yeah. I see other people that don't like this new Spider-Man either. I'm like, leave Tom Holland alone.
He's not the problem. He's a
He's
good
not the
Spider-Man.
problem. Yeah,
It's,
he's a good boy.
story and direction and just the general themes and understanding of the comics, but not Tom Holland. He's not the problem.
Tom Holland innocent.
He's like he's like this great candy wrapped in this bad wrapper.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way to put it. Far From Home will not make her end of the year.
Yeah,
list
who
or end of the decade
would
list.
have thought? Like we wouldn't have liked the movie that is J.K. Simmons, Backus Jameson. Hate it.
I told
Makes
you,
you
man.
just hate it.
I said it on the podcast. It's the final finger curl of the monkey's paw. That's what that movie is to me. But
Who'd have thought?
that's for the year. We should move on to the end of the decade, so we're not here for another hour.
Yeah, take a break.
Yes, let's do that, and then we'll come back. Top 10 of the decade. Wish us luck, because holy shit. And we're back. We're here to talk about our top 10 of the decade. We're going to run through them a little faster than we did our top 5, just because I think, one, this is longer, and two, there's a lot of other stuff I want to talk about, like responses that people on Twitter sent us about their top 5 of 2019 and top 10 of the decade. But first off, why don't we just start with our number 10, Gene?
Yeah.
What is your number 10 best movie of the decade?
Did you guess it or no?
You want me to guess it?
I don't know.
You think I'll know it?
Maybe.
Last Jedi.
No. It's on there, but
Oh, okay.
Shin Godzilla.
Oh, that makes total sense. Yeah. Shin Godzilla.
It's great. I love that.
Yes, it is fantastic.
2016's best Godzilla movie of the decade.
As someone who actually loves all 3 live-action Godzillas,
Yeah,
yes,
it is.
I agree.
Yeah. So I need to watch Evangelion.
Yeah, because that director can direct a fucking frame. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Godzilla's like scary in that, and he looks like he has googly eyes in it, and he's horrifying. Not a criticism. It's legitimately brilliant. My number 10 is Drive, the Nicholas Winding Refn film. The reason I'm interested in film criticism and even podcasting in the first place is because I saw Drive, and I was in the group of friends I went with. I was the only person that felt absolutely head over
That
heels in
liked
love
it?
with it,
Yeah.
and I was like, okay, that's the first movie that made me question, why do I feel this and why does no one else feel that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember that lady tried to sue?
Yeah, for the OG of the decade fans, someone tried to sue the trailer house for Drive or something like
I
that
don't
because
know.
they expected it to be like a Fast and Furious movie. Shout out to Fast 5, which only came out a couple months before Drive, which is also an excellent film.
Excellent movie.
And it does not make my top 10 though, but Fast Family for life. Let's do number 9, and then I'll start reading off some responses.
Yeah. Get out. Get out of this house.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I love Get Out. It's Jordan Peele's directorial debut, and it was really the movie of its time,
Yeah, that's
really of its era.
sometimes with feature-length debuts, some hit, some not so much. Not everyone's Michael Mann's Thief. Get Out. It was like a kick in the door down moment, and Jordan Peele's like, "I'm here," and everyone was like, "You got it, dude.
Yeah, he's like
Welcome."
like the Kool-Aid commercials.
Oh yeah, he just burst through that shit. Yeah, Get Out is easily one of the best movies of the decade. All right, some quick responses for top 10 of the decade. Our friend at Machapan, Christian Morgutia, Pacific Rim, Scott Pilgrim, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Promare, which I believe is a recent film that I haven't seen.
I haven't
Sorry
seen
about
it.
that.
I haven't seen it either.
Disaster Artist, Rogue One, Creed, which is another favorite of the Waffle Press, of course.
Mhm.
The Lego Movie, Drive, and Get Out. That was not pre-planned, and we literally just got that.
Yeah.
So, thank you,
Life
Christian.
works in extraordinary ways.
Yeah, very extraordinary ways. My number 9, Attack the Block.
Believe it.
Believe it. Kill him. Kill all them things, Jedi. Well, I guess he didn't try to be a Jedi after all, but he could have been. John
He was,
Boyega's.
force sensitive.
He was force sensitive.
JJ explained that in the Q&A, not in the movie.
We don't have time to unpack more of Rise of Skywalker nonsense, but John Boyega is still nothing but a talent, and that's the one that kind of introduced him to the world. And Attack the Block is a great science fiction film, adventure, horror. There's actually some very scary moments in there. It's a little heavy on the violence, actually. It's a hard R, so you got younglings, and you're like, oh, space adventure movie like The Goonies, or I guess that's a fantasy, whatever. The point is, you got kids and they like Star Wars, make sure they're a little older before they watch Attack the Block. But it's a great film, with surprisingly sensitive discussions and thoughts on racism and the suburbs and urban industrial areas, specifically around London in the UK. But I think it's pretty prevalent across the world, and very impressive film. One of the best movie endings ever. I love the ending of Attack the Block.
Yeah, Moses.
Yeah. God, that's a fucking great movie.
Moses versus the Monsters.
Yeah. Also check out The Kid Would Be King, which is the director's follow-up. Not as good, but it's solid.
I don't like it as much.
Well, no, I don't like it as much either, but like for a kid, that's one your kids
it's a nice
can watch.
kids movie, yeah.
If your kids like Star Wars, check
For
that
sure.
out. All right, number 8, and then I'll read off some more.
Yeah, Ex Machina.
Ex Machina. Okay.
Alex Garland.
All right.
To win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he secretly directed Dread, too.
Yes, or I guess not so
Self-
secretly.
Yeah. On the
Anymore.
download, but yeah, it's crazy. These, it's kind of an unofficial trilogy. That, Ex Machina, Annihilation, Judge Dredd, Dredd.
Dread, yes.
Yeah,
Not the Sylvester Stallone one.
oh no. Now with Rob Schneider.
Oh, he's in.
Yeah,
Holy
he's in that
shit, he
too.
is, huh?
Diane Lane's in it. I don't know.
God. Okay.
Terrible.
All right.
Yeah, just Alex Garland, just anything he writes or directs. Love it.
Yeah, Alex Garland. He wrote the Halo draft back in the day when they did the
Yeah,
Halo
back
movie.
in the day.
Don't know if it would have worked, but it's available online for people that are interested. Interesting stuff. But yeah, everything he does, I'm totally game for.
Yeah.
Other top 5 of 2019 from at Jacob Knight, Us, Booksmart, at Astra, Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, Steven Universe the Musical. Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood is an excellent movie that we didn't talk about.
Yeah, it's
Very good one.
Yeah.
Another
Gives
one.
you a lot of feels.
Many feelings.
Tells you it's okay to feel.
Yeah, Marielle Heller, who also directed. What's the one with Melissa McCarthy?
Describe it.
She plagiarizes a manuscript. It's really good. It's from 2018. It's really terrific. Look up Marielle Heller. It's a previous film from A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. It's very, very good. Some of the responses, really quick, because surprisingly the amount of people went through these, and I'm only going to highlight a couple because we're only on a limited amount of time here. So sorry about that. Holy shit. Some of you have some weird handles that I'm not going to spend time trying to pronounce. So I'm sorry about that.
Sorry.
At Hone Ethan for the best movies of the year. Joker, Parasite, Irishman, El Camino, Star Wars, Rise of Skywalker, and then in quotations, Uncut Gems. We don't agree with all of that, but you know what? Half of it we agree with, and you know what? That's kind of beautiful too.
More power to you.
Yeah, more power to you. All right, my number 8 then, right? Because you just gave your number 8?
Yeah, I did.
The Last Jedi. I've tried to look at it from different perspectives. Some might call me a shill, a Ryan Johnson shill.
Or,
I genuinely cannot fathom
not like
the criticisms against this film. Like,
I think
there's probably some pacing stuff I would tighten down.
Yeah. No movie's perfect.
Yeah, of course.
That's,
Every Star Wars has like a
perfection.
thing, you know.
Just think that they're wrong.
I would agree. Like, it's one of those ones where I'm just
They're
like,
just wrong.
like we're always trying to say like, art is subjective. We have to like keep open discussions. I don't see it. It is not real to me.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't get it. How do you like Star Wars and think The Last Jedi is like the worst Star Wars movie?
Yeah, I mean, it's just people that don't like In-N-Out.
It's such a not that I get. I love In-N-Out.
Yeah.
We're a pro In-N-Out podcast. We're also a pro Last Jedi podcast. But it is such a beautiful, moving film with it. Internet culture sucks sometimes because everyone's like, "Oh, no one's ever really gone like dumb," and I'm like, "How do you find something that beautiful and human and moving?" Anything less than like a great,
touching,
just a great moment in cinematic history. Mark Hamill deserved an Oscar for his performance in that, or at least nomination.
Oh yeah.
It is at least the best written and best directed Star Wars movie to me.
And his hair in the movie.
It's his
just
hair.
love everything about him though.
It is. It's a beautiful film about. It's a class conscious Star Wars film, which it's not that they've been politically ambivalent up to that point, but that one's drives a hard line in the whole galaxy conflict. It's a great film, and I will watch it until the day I die. It's beautiful, and we should go on to number 7.
Yeah, number 7 was The Shape of Water.
Talk a little bit about that one.
Talked to by Guillermo del Toro. Yeah, it's just such an elegant movie. I remember hearing about it when he wanted to do it as a black and white movie, but he has that one sequence in black and white, and I guess sometimes just things don't work out. But yeah, it's just such a great love story between a woman and another, like, I mean, he's not a fish, he's like another species, and about, really touching about love and what Del Toro has to say about, like, the world and what he sees, what he sees as just kind of like the evil in the, kind of the not so savory people in the world, and, like, it's talking about for outcasts and everyone, and I love that movie so much.
Yeah, it's that's another one that's very beautiful. 2017 year, like that year was just
there's like
killer
3
year
or 4
for
movies. Yeah,
that was a great year.
That was a great year.
Yeah, absolutely moving. Listen to Del Toro talk on like interviews and podcasts about that one. TP30 on 30. If you're on YouTube.
YouTube channel.
That's a good one. Gene and I were talking about it before the show, not to derail the whole conversation already. We were like, what do we watch on there that we actually like anymore? That's a good one. DP3030. Fantastic channel with great interviews that are very conversational, like we try to do here, but we're not interviewing Guillermo del Toro yet. So, at Andre on Film for Best of the Decade. Number 1, Sing Street, Comet, Last Jedi, Django Unchained, Good Time, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Guardians of the Galaxy, mid-90s. I know you like that one a lot.
I did.
Perks of Being a Wallflower, which I think is actually...
Yeah,
okay, good. Pro Perks of Being a Wallflower podcast. And Gone Girl, which is David Fincher's last film of the decade.
Maybe, yeah. His
What-
last film.
what happened?
I mean, I guess he's been doing Mindhunter.
He's been doing Netflix shows, and I guess now he's doing... what's he doing? He's doing Mank.
Yeah.
The Mankiewicz Orson Welles film, which I'm actually very looking forward to. David Fincher, come back to me. I miss you. Alien 3 hashtag. All right, my number 7. Right?
We're on 7.
Number 7. Inception. Christopher Nolan's Inception.
Oh no.
His first movie of the decade.
Okay. Yeah.
Got a lot of flack. Once Twitter started taking off, people were like, "That movie isn't really that good."
They really have it out for Nolan.
They sure do.
Yeah.
And you know what? Doing the Batman retrospective and revisiting Dark Knight trilogy and stuff like that, and actually, I was going to go on a whole tangent about how that reminded me of how much I love Nolan. I've never stopped loving Inception.
Yeah.
Inception, I think, is the Christopher Nolan film.
Yeah.
Dunkirk is fantastic. Everything he's done this
Dunkirk.
decade, I think, is very impressive. But
It's a little Quaid
Inception.
It was a little documentary.
Oh, he did a documentary?
Yeah, he did the documentary.
Oh, okay. I guess I'll have to check that out at some point.
Yeah.
You think it would have gone on my best of the decade list?
Probably not. It's like 10 minutes.
No. Oh, well, I guess not. But Inception is great. It's a heist film, and like all heist films, it's kind of about making movies a little bit.
Yeah.
With everyone fulfilling like a purpose in their role. The architect, the shade, the producer, who is Ken Watanabe's character in that film. Like, it's not even subtle. Like, that's just what it is. I remain consistently entertained, impressed, and I fall deeper in love with that film. And it's also one of those, it ends on a moment that reminds me that, like, oh yeah, the criticisms about Nolan being a cold filmmaker are kind of like, I guess if you saw, like, pieces of his films, you'd think that. But he's clearly a dude who just loves people.
Yeah.
And,
yeah,
it's a fantastic film. All right, so number 6, we're moving on.
Yeah, I was going to say The Last Jedi. Yeah. I don't know. I don't really think I could top your thing about The Last Jedi, but I'm going to say Mark Hamill liked a tweet of mine one time.
There you go.
He said I liked his voice because he was apparently the voiceover for a trailer, teaser for Kingdom Hearts, and I'm like, Mark Hamill. It's like, I tweeted at him like, oh yeah, Mark Hamill's voice. It's better than a warm glass of milk to put you asleep. And he liked it.
Mark Hamill, fuck, man. The internet fucked up The Last Jedi discourse so bad. People weren't just like unanimously championing that, like, oh yeah, Mark Hamill
He's a great actor.
Runs away with the movie. He's a great actor.
Great voiceover. Great thespian.
He's just a total talent. And between his... Just look at The Last Jedi performance versus Rise of Skywalker.
Let's go on to Mark Hamill tangent. I love his humility. Like, when people are like, hey, I don't like when you agreed with Jake, or what is it? He just like a tweet from J.K. Rowling. He's like, you know what? I'll try to do better. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What a great guy.
He's just a dude who's understanding. He cracks wise-ass jokes on Twitter and has been nothing but respectful to fans of his work. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's all I can really ask for that. At DC Flash Shill. Okay. See, you know what? I like that Twitter handle because it's simple, straight to the point, and I know exactly where you're from. And they have a Ray Twitter icon, so I like you. Number 1, The Last Jedi. Don't know why that was a surprise to me. Shin Godzilla, Evangelion 3.3.
I haven't seen
3,
that.
you cannot redo.
Yeah.
We're not going to get into that.
It's a thing.
Okay, I'm
It's
like,
just name
what?
a title.
8th grade, Looper, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
I like this guy's list.
I like it too. The World's End, La La Land, Knives Out, and
Oh,
Whiplash. Killer
Good
list.
choices.
Thank
whoever
you.
are.
At Trapped in My Mind. There's some French titles. I'm sorry. This is for the year, top 5. Duelier et Gloire, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Parasite, Un Vieux Cachet, and The Irishman.
Nice.
I'm assuming the other ones are good. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Number 6, Inherent Vice, the Paul Thomas Anderson film
Oh, yeah.
that people felt like, what the hell was that? And the moment I walked out of the theater, actually with Gene,
yeah.
I don't know if you remember this, you and I believe our friend Andrew Santa Cruz were not over the moon about it.
Yeah, I don't think I liked it the first time, to be honest. God, that was like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I watched it twice. I think I liked it more. I just have, I don't know, I don't know what I don't like about that movie. It's fairly good. It wouldn't be on my top 10. But
I appreciate that.
I like it a lot.
It is definitely his most controversial film, I feel like. 'Cause
Yeah.
some people just hate it.
I don't hate
like,
it.
loathe it.
Yeah.
People like me love it.
I mean, yeah, it's a good stone movie.
Yeah, it actually reminds me a little bit of The Beach Bum. This is a much better movie than The Beach Bum, but just that it feels like you're getting high with the characters. You're getting a contact high from watching the movie. You're like, wait, does this make any sense? And if you trace it back, it kind of does. But it's also like it's that
very dense movie.
It's a very dense movie. It's also another end of the era film, like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where characters try to rekindle like this flame of like past glory, and it's just that's not a thing at a certain point. And how they have to move on to an uncertain future with very little life rafts around them.
Yeah.
So that's number 6 then. Mm-hmm. If I could just do one more really quick. Sure. Jake is 2006 emo once again. Said for the top 5 of the year: Marriage Story, Jojo Rabbit, Parasite, Irishman, and The Lighthouse. We didn't talk about The Lighthouse, but we both like The Lighthouse a lot.
I love that.
All right, number 5, Gene.
Yeah, Pacific Rim, another GDT movie.
Oh, okay. I guess just a quick note. I limited myself to one film per franchise and filmmaker.
I'm sorry.
No, good. No,
Yeah.
that was not a prerequisite whatsoever. Just a note for the listeners. Pacific Rim. What do you got?
Yeah, Pacific Rim. I love giant monster movies. I love giant mechs. I love the diversity of the characters, the cast, its message, working together. It says walls are stupid. Walls don't work because they're just stupid. The monsters just get rid of them.
Yeah. In case you're wondering more about our conversation about movies and politics, where Guillermo del Toro might stand on things.
Yeah. What's it gonna do? The monster's gonna wreck it.
Yep. So,
but yeah, it's just great fucking movie. Yeah, it's one of his best. I love it. It's just everything he loves about monsters and the genre, and he just takes his own spin on it. Amazing, love it.
Yeah.
Do not say anything bad about it.
Terrific IMAX movie.
Oh yeah.
I might have a little more to say in a bit.
Mm.
At Jeff Movie Man, top 10 of the decade: The Social Network, Hugo, Life of Pi, Wolf of Wall Street, Whiplash, Mad Max Fury Road, Arrival, 3 Billboards, If Beale Street Could Talk. Very underrated film.
That was good.
Parasite.
It's a sad movie.
Very sad.
It's depressing.
Barry Jenkins' Fall to Moonlight, If Beale Street Could Talk. Please check it out.
Yeah.
Did not get the hype
it
deserved after Moonlight, but very, very good film. At B. Oliver 36 for top 5 of the year. High Flying Bird, Hustlers, Knives Out, Dolomite Is My Name, and Uncut Gems.
I felt High Flying Bird was really overlooked.
I
was really enjoying it.
High Flying Bird. Go check it out. Netflix.
I mean, I'm a fairly okay basketball fan. But it had a lot to say about the game and its players. Mm-hmm. And I think the last time we said it has the MVP, Bill Duke.
Yep, Bill Duke.
We had him on the podcast.
Yes, he was. Link down below because Gene ran a fantastic interview with Bill Duke on that.
Bill Duke's great. We had to cast him one day.
I would love to work with Bill Duke. That would be the
Predator.
shit. Oh, fuck yeah. Oh yeah, my number 5 then.
Yeah.
Segue into Shane Black's The Predator.
Oh, there you go.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, okay.
Sorry.
I feel like you would have put that.
No, that's a
Like the parody version of you would.
yeah. I have a soft spot for that
Yeah.
B movie, but that's
course.
no, it just doesn't work. My number 5, though, this is completely sincere. Black Hat, Michael Mann's 2001: A Space Odyssey.
I guessed it. I really did.
Yep, you sure did. It has more in common with One Car Why than it does the Michael Mann of previous years, but also it's also the most Michael Mann movie.
Mm.
It's a globe-trotting science fiction thriller with Chris Hemsworth as a computer hacker.
Black Hat hacker.
It's a Black Hat hacker named Hathaway. It's got an international cast flavor to it, which apparently Michael Mann's actually always wanted to do for like decades at this point. And it ties together his interests with like anti-capitalist establishments, how technology is not the problem, but it can be a problem in the wrong hands, and it can also be used for good, to bring people together. If we're confined to certain structures, they can be turned against us. It is a movie made by a madman. It lost dozens of millions of dollars. It might have lost like $100 million for Universal. Part of me thinks it's Michael Mann's like anti-establishment performance art is to just keep continually sinking movie projects for studios.
Yeah.
I don't know. But it is a movie that I was like, yeah, I really like that. It's probably not my favorite Michael Mann movie, and it's still not. But rewatching it, I was like, oh shit, this is like, I think this one's gonna stick around for a while.
Yeah. Maybe I'll see it one day.
Maybe you'll see it one day. Maybe you'll hate it. Who
I'll watch
knows?
it right now.
But I cannot recommend it enough to the fans of Michael Mann. It's further reading for everyone else. I'll say that. That's another dense film.
Yeah.
Sorry about that for this this Inherent Vice.
Yeah.
But number 4, Gene, what do you got?
I got it. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Wow,
That's number 4.
I'm very.
You're like surprised, really?
Well, I'm just happy. I like those guys.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And they didn't even make my top 10.
It didn't make your top. Oh, okay.
No, yeah, and
Well,
I love them.
Yeah, I love that movie. People that criticize Marvel say they're not, real movies. I would really disagree, and I would point to that. I just feel like it's a good comedy, but it's a great movie about just like losers. But then they're also it's a movie like kind of about like forgiving yourself, about like being like abuse basically, because that's what happened to Rocket, Star-Lord, Gamora. And yeah, I love James Gunn's direction. I think he's a great writer and director. And it's just so visually interesting, and just the soundtrack. I mean, there's a reason why everyone listens to it, and because everyone talks about the comedy, but I love the drama of it. And I love like the humanity of those characters. So yeah, they're always special to me. And yeah, I think I like Volume 2, but yeah, Volume 1 still is my favorite.
All right.
Yeah.
Did not make my list. Volume 2 is my favorite Marvel movie.
Mm-hmm.
As I've said many times in this podcast, I don't want to get the whole thing there, but I'm really happy it made yours. And honestly, it's close to the top 10. Another top 5 for the year from our buddy PJ Campbell. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, The Irishman, Uncut Gems, Avengers Endgame, Knives Out. I know you put Avengers Endgame in there just for me, so I'm gonna have to give you a call later.
Fight you.
Yeah, I know where you live. And at Corey Sim 7, Toy Story 4, Booksmart, Apollo 11, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Dolomite is my name for top 5 of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Some really good lists out there. So thank you everyone who's been. I literally cannot read all of them. There's too many people.
There's a lot.
So thank you very much for that. My number 4, Kubo and the Two Strings.
Oh, that's great.
Maybe my favorite animated movie ever.
Favorite anime.
Travis
Knight.
Travis Knight,
Yeah,
fantastic
amazing.
filmmaker.
Go see Bumblebee.
President of Lyco. Yeah, Bumblebee's very good. Definitely some problematic elements. Like it was 2016 when it came out. Why did you have white actors voice Japanese characters? Like, come on, dude. But regardless, if you can't overlook that, I totally get it. That is completely valid. I just want to make that clear. But it's a very moving movie about grief, death, and loss, and how the people we love are never truly far from us, and the experiences we have and the connections we share as people are more powerful than anything. And I cried a lot when I first saw it. Someone passed away very recently after that movie came out for me, and it was just devastating, and it helped fill a little hole in my heart. So I'll always have a great appreciation for that film.
Yeah.
And that's shout out to Moana, which came out the same year, and that one was pretty close to make my top 10 too.
Not Lava.
Not Lava. Sorry.
Lava.
Lava's really bad. Lava is like Baby Yoda of short films to me. No, Baby Yoda's cute. I just want to kill it. But that's another conversation for another time. Oh my God, we're on number 3 already, G.
Yeah.
We're winding down. What do you got?
Mad Max Fury Road.
It's not a surprise. It's on my list too. But why don't you go ahead and just...
Yeah, we should. Yeah, it's just George Miller at his best. Just walked into that movie not expecting anything. I don't know the build-up of it, but I mean, in certain film chatter, it was getting really, really hyped, and I just went in and I loved it. I love that movie so much. Like one of my favorite movies of all time. I'll take it back, and then we'll just go to audio and come away. Yeah, it's certainly one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mad Max Fury Road is also on my list. It is.
Is it the same spot?
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. Again, all these things can mood change, whatever. Just a shout out to shout out to Mad Max Fury Road. I mean, you kind of covered it right there. Completely wild experience for a theater, I think, because it is so like narratively stripped down to like the core elements of like an action film, and it lets the emotions carry everything more than most. So like when people complain about there not being a plot, like there's a story there, but like you have to go with the movie's flow. It's not doing anything like experimental. It's just baseline filmmaking used to like express something because it's an art form, and that's what it's for. And it's really fucking cool.
Yeah.
So, some other shout-outs really quick to top 10 movies of the decade. Hayden, That Dork Who Loves Movies. Drive, Before Midnight. Richard Linklater, always. Toy Story 3, La La Land. Tree of Life, Her, which was also very close to making the list. Mad Max Fury Road. Lady Bird, Blade Runner 2049, and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. So, yeah, very good list. Oh my God, number 2 then. We're here.
The Hateful Eight.
Whoa. I'm actually surprised it's that high on your list. But please.
Yeah, I felt it was certainly one of Tarantino's best. Has a lot to say just about the country and just racism, and it's a white man who really conveys enough of the story to really speak to that. I think he handles it really well. It's just prolific, and just the way they shoot it, and just the way that story moves, and I'm really appreciative to it.
Yeah, I really love The Hateful Eight. I get it being a little too mean for repeat viewing for people.
Sometimes
it's the most vile movie he's ever made.
I guess, yeah. Maybe Kill Bill. People just get chopped left, but it's cartoony.
It's cartoony. This one is like. It's just cynically, nihilistically ugly.
So many,
I mean, it's his remake of The Thing. Like, that's basically how dark it is.
Yeah.
But instead of a shape-shifting alien, it's the
racism.
Boiling kettle of America's history with racism just exploding all over everyone.
Yeah, and it was almost a Django movie, too.
That's right, huh? Yeah. Do you want to do a quick little backstory?
I believe the story was in, it was like Django in, Hell, or White Hell, I believe, or I think the the Samuel L. Jackson character was almost Django.
Wow.
But he just decided against it. But I don't know, could be. Who knows what he'll do for his last movie?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that eventually. Probably the last one I'll read out at Movie Kale for top 5 movies of the year, friend of the show. Also, thank you for joining us on multiple occasions. Also, Kale. Thank you to everyone who's joined us this year and all years before.
This decade.
Yeah,
How long have we been around?
Oh my God, we've been around 3 years, 4 years? Officially? 5 maybe?
I think 6 years.
No way.
Yeah, 6 years.
Does that first year really count?
The YouTube channel is 2014.
Jesus. Oh my God. Okay. Top 5 for Movie Kale: Ad Astra, Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, Parasite, Little Women, and The Irishman. Good top 5 for the year. I think it's going to be the last one so we can wrap up the show.
Yeah.
My number 2, and I actually have 3 more left. I'm not going to do all 3 of them. Yeah. It's Personal Shopper.
Ooh, nice.
The Olivier Assayas film starring Kristen Stewart. We did see that together. We saw a Q&A after with Kristen Stewart. Very thought-provoking actress, very human actress, and it's a ghost story film also about technology. Great double feature with Black Cat. That's what that movie is. About depression. It's about people withdrawing from themselves and using like technology as a cushion. Again, it doesn't paint technology as good or bad. It's just taking a bunch of what we consider to be the norm for nowadays and kind of turning it on its head to tell a very modern ghost story about the demons we can let in when we let ourselves go to a dark place.
Great movie. I'm
making it sound more supernatural than it is, and it's not really that focused. It's very Hitchcockian. It's terrific, and one of the best closing shots of the decade also.
Yeah.
All right, number one, Gene. What is your number one film of the decade?
Well, all right. I'd go with a movie that made me want to get into filmmaking, Inception. Number one. I remember telling my friend next to me, saying, "Oh, that's what..." I forgot what scene it was. Like, yeah, that's what I want to do. In the theater, just watching it. And yeah, that's such a great form, the way they use practical sets, the way they sell. The effects and just really put you in that world. And I think movies, just at the end of the day, need to put you somewhere else, take you away from the troubles of everyday life. And I love Nolan. I think he's a great human filmmaker. And yeah, he needs to get more credit than he is because I don't think he's cold. I don't think he's he's very liberal. If you watch Dunkirk, it's about people coming together. I love that guy.
I'm torn because I did have two on my list that I really wanted to mention. I guess drum roll. My heart tells me one thing, my brain tells me another. I'm trying to push them together right now.
You can only pick one.
I know. The other one will be on a written list.
Okay.
Or could I say it as an honorable mention?
No. You can do one.
Forgive me. The movie of the decade for me is The Other Side of the Wind by Orson Welles.
Great.
Which was not even in its completed form, but there was enough left over from his notes to construct the film.
Yeah.
And I think it's my number one because it shows what we can do with the technology now. We can do to like restore the history of film and create something new for people. I'm not advocating at all for the CGI dead people thing. Holy fuck! Someone stop them from doing that ever again.
Yeah.
I do not want to see James Dean in a movie, and he's gone. But for the actual like preservation of film, I think it's a testament to what's capable now. And I also think as Orson Welles' final completed film, which he has said was not autobiographical, which he carried to his death. Yeah. Also noted in the excellent Netflix documentary that was released alongside this, "They'll Love Me When I'm Dead." It is so clearly autobiographical about Orson Welles' time in England and what it was like to come back to Hollywood, a Hollywood that he no longer recognized, and an art form that moved away from the art a little bit, he maybe felt.
Kind of passed him by.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. He felt it passed him by, and maybe like the construction of the art form itself did, but he himself was still so ahead of his time because this film still hits what I imagine would have felt like through all the decades prior. Like, it's telling a really tragic story about a dude who's like repressed his like gender like identity or like at least like sexuality. A dude who does feel left behind by the world. Fantastic performances by many actors who have passed on. Not passed on the great Peter Bogdanovich.
Mm-hmm. He's good in it. I think John Huston.
John Huston, who is no longer with us, of course. Awesome performance. In a perfect world, this would have won Best Editing, like hands down, in a bunch of film award festivals and everything in 2018.
Never won an Oscar?
Never won an Oscar. It would have been perfect if he won for this.
Citizen Kane did not win.
Citizen Kane did not win. That's
I think
so
it was
often
like How
cited.
Green Was My Valley or something.
And
it was the Green Book of its time.
Oh, God. And, this is some of the best editing ever, just because of how it was constructed, but also because it's never confusing and you never lose the flow or the rhythm of the film.
Yeah.
It's constantly throwing new things at you. It's constantly building these dynamics between these characters. It's the last night in the life of an aging filmmaker who committed suicide. And it's one of those movies I watch and I feel so fulfilled by, and I'm like, I want to do that.
Yeah.
And as I watch it when I'm down, I watch it when I'm excited, I watch it literally all the time. I must have seen it dozens of times by now, either in the background while I'm paying attention to it completely. It is yeah, it's one of my favorite movies ever. It's the best movie of the decade to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess that's the show.
Yeah.
That's it. This is the last one of the decade,
God,
Gene.
Yeah.
We did
what are
it.
we gonna do in the cold morning
Oh,
of the new year?
Drink more beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
But yeah, we've grown a lot. We've yeah.
I need to shave a little bit. I have a little
Shave.
stubble.
Yeah. We've learned. We've loved.
Yeah, we've learned, we've loved, we drank. We
met all
fought.
these great fans, had panelists.
Yeah, we did panels at Comic-Con, which you can go watch on our YouTube channel.
We've seen our growth.
Yeah. The last panel at Comic-Con was a shit ton of fun.
Yeah.
Both of them were, and I hope to continue doing that into the years to come. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have a statement or anything like that. I'm just thankful for everyone who's listened, and thanks for allowing us to grow. And I think the next year will be our best year yet, and I hope we can continue growing just to keep talking about movies with everyone on Twitter and everyone here on YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, and Patreon. Links down to all that below. Please support us if you can. If not, just spread the word. Gene, thank you again so much, my friend. Where can the people find you?
Gene9892 on Twitter and Instagram.
And you can follow me on Twitter at the Diego Crespo. Links down below again to everything. Go, unless you're listening on SoundCloud and Spotify and iTunes, then check us out on the Twitters, again, at the Waffle Press. So thank you for listening. Thanks for watching. Happy New Year. We have been professionally unprofessional.